Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. So today we're going to talk about the best SARMs for cutting. But before we get into that, I want to reiterate that I'm not a doctor and anything I say in these videos is for your entertainment purposes only. And what you do with this information is completely and utterly up to you. I am not advising you nor condoning you to use any of the things that we talk about in these videos whatsoever. So, let's talk about the best SARMs for cutting. Now, one thing about SARMs is you can really cut with any of them, okay? You could really cut with anything, to be honest with you. Some things are just a lot more easier to cut with or more meant for that than others. So I want to make that clear. I'm going to tell you which ones are the best for this kind of, goal that you might have. Now, SARMs are far different than steroids. I've covered this a million times. SARMs are going to give you a really strong capability of losing weight and fat while still able to maintain some muscle. So remember, SARMs were designed to prevent muscle wastage. Okay? So they're going to, keep you, with that ability to, hold on to extra muscle while you're in a cutting phase, which is very difficult. Anytime you're trying to lose 20, 30, 40 pounds, let's say, and that's not exactly what I'm talking about here. I'm just giving you an example. You're going to sacrifice muscle. I think we all get that. But nobody wants to lose, 30, 40 pounds and then sacrifice a ton of muscle where you just look like a completely different person. In terms of being like kind of frail or weak looking. Now, you still might sacrifice a little muscle losing that kind of weight, but nowhere near to the extent you would with SARMs. So I just want to reiterate that. And SARMs are far different than steroids because steroids are not sitting here where you use them for weight loss like this, where with SARMs, you can definitely go that route. Especially with something like a GW 501, 516 or SR 9009, which technically aren't considered SARMs, even though they're grouped with them. But let's just get into the things that are grouped with SARMs and what's the best for cutting. Number one is GW 501, 516. Definitely my favorite, okay? We're talking about endurance gains. We're talking about an increase in metabolism. We're also, and one thing that gets overlooked is that it also helps blood pressure and cholesterol, which coincides with the, fat loss and things like that. But look, when you're increasing endurance to this level, okay, you're building your VO2 max with GW 501, 516 the whole way through, all right? When you build your VO2 max, then you're obviously having the capability to do far more for far longer periods of time. And I'm not just talking about regular cardio endurance where you're running long distances or doing high intensity interval training. I'm also talking about muscular endurance. So when you're, ripping off a set of 10, 12 reps and you normally take a minute and a half break, I'm talking you're ready to go in like 20, 30 seconds. You're not winded, you're just noticing that kind of difference. Well, look, when you're able to do that, and you can increase your output, then clearly you're going to be getting more out of it. So the more that you can do at a quicker rate, the more you're going to cut on top of it. All right, then the obvious increase in metabolism. I think that we're all aware that, that you're going to be able to cut more weight. I mean, increase your metabolism, you're going to burn more fat. All right, so this is the fairly obvious. Then we got SR 9009, which is in a close second. Now, it's been known as exercise in a bottle. I don't like to say that because you're not going to get what you should out of it if you don't train with it. But even sedentary people can still lose weight with SR 9009. But trust me when I tell you, don't get that confused where you think that you can just sit on your butt all day and eat cake and ice cream and potato chips and do nothing, or even eat good and do nothing, and you're just going to drop 100 pounds. It's not how things work. But you can still lose weight, if you're not doing anything with it. But just don't mix those, okay? Now, SR 9009 has been said to reverse metabolic syndrome, so it takes a direct approach. It's kind of like you flip-flop it with GW 501, 516. GW's first aim is endurance, second aim is metabolism, where SR 9009, you flip-flop it, first aim is metabolism, then the endurance. So they're similar in that regard where they both get you, help in those areas. I prefer GW myself. Always felt a little bit, more on it. But I'm an endurance athlete. You have to remember that. I run 50 miles a week. And so endurance is number one for me. If you have a metabolic disorder, SR 9009 will probably be number one for you. But it's definitely right there neck and neck on the list. Number 3 is S4. Now, S4 is really good because it's really good at strength and lean muscle gain. But the more lean muscle that you gain, the more fat you're going to lose. And it's a really lean gain. Okay, S4 is a favorite of everybody that uses it. Aside from the vision side effects that are temporary, not permanent, which I've covered a million times, S4 is phenomenal in a cutting cycle. Any cutting cycle that I recommend, S4 is always in it. It's just always there. It is just phenomenal. Okay, lean muscle, strength. You're going to actually have a small increase in endurance, not a ton, but you will feel that as well. All right. Performance will definitely rise. Strength on this is amazing. It really is. So S4 number 3. RAD 140 number 4. Now RAD 140, a lot of people will compare it to testosterone, but RAD 140 is really underappreciated for the endurance and fat loss gains that you get with it. Really underappreciated and overlooked in that regard. There's definitely the strength there, and there are some testosterone, similarities, I guess, so to speak. It's definitely not the same. It's not going to increase it like that or anything, but the cutting capabilities are definitely there. Now, honorable mention MK2866. Now, 2866 is I guess I would compare 2866 if I'm looking at a steroid gains wise, not overall structurally, would be like an equipoise where you can cut with it, but it's still good for lean muscle mass, strength gains. Now, MK's got the healing capabilities that we all know of as well, but you definitely are going to notice yourself leaning up on it. You're just going to gain a little bit more. It's preferably for a recomp, but a recomp, part of a recomp is the cutting aspect, and that's MK2866 is phenomenal for that. So MK2866 definitely belongs on this list as well. I'm not discussing S23, YK11 because I don't really feel like those are SARMs. I know they're SARMs technically, but they're more similar to steroids. So I leave those out of my discussions. So that was your list right there of the best cutting SARMs. Now, MK677 is known for having fat loss capabilities. There's a ton of studies on that dating back to even the 90s. But I still don't group it because of the amount of time that it takes to be on that, the amount of water retention that you may get initially. So it's not the best option in terms of the other ones. But if you're going long term with its similarities to HGH, 677 is phenomenal for fat loss. Phenomenal. But in this regard, I don't really feel like it's as good as the others, especially in the short term. So that is the best SARMs for cutting. That being said, www.isarms.com/forums. I'm also on the Elite Fitness Forum as well as the Evolutionary Forum. Email me, Dylan@isarms.com, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.